Yoli's testimony. The summer of 1966. The Horse of Providence. The summer of 1966, Entronque, San Diego, Pinar del Rio, Cuba, arrived with a heat that embraced the earth and a sky so blue that it seemed infinite. My parents had decided to take us to my grandparents' country house and spend a few weeks of vacation there. This was a place full of life, with chickens pecking everywhere, the sound of the windmill turning in the wind and horses trotting freely in the field. I was barely 5 years old, full of that childlike curiosity that leads you to explore the world without fear. One afternoon, while everyone was busy with their chores, my little feet took me to a horse that was loose on the embankment. There he was, an immense horse with a dark brown and shiny coat, like a cloak of night, that seemed to rest in this beautiful place. Something about him called me. Maybe it was the calm with which he remained there, as if he were waiting for me. I approached slowly, my heart beating fast but not afraid. I touched its legs with my small hands, feeling the warmth of its body and the rough texture of its skin. The horse didn't move, didn't make a sound. It simply let me be there and touch him in that strange communion between a child and an animal that seemed to understand more than it could express. Suddenly, I felt the need to get even closer. I bent down and gently kissed its belly, as if it were the most natural thing in the world. At that moment, a low, trembling voice interrupted the stillness. "My child, come here slowly." It was my grandmother, calling me almost in a whisper from the door of the house. I turned to look at her. Her face, pale and full of concern, made me understand that something was not right. But her voice was not reproachful but caring. With one hand, she motioned for me to come closer slowly, while with the other she put a finger to her lips, asking me to be quiet. When I got to her side, she grabbed me by the shoulders and looked at me straight into my eyes. "That horse," she said to me in a barely audible tone. "That horse killed a worker a month ago. No one goes near him, my child. No one." Her words left me breathless. Over time, my mother explained to me that a man from the ranch had tried to tame him, and in a fit of rage, the horse had knocked him down and trampled it until it was lifeless. Since then, everyone feared him and kept him isolated. At that moment, when my grandmother said those words to me, I didn't understand much, but when I looked at the horse one last time before entering the house, I didn't feel afraid. He was still there, calm, looking at me with those dark, deep eyes that seemed to speak a language that only God understood. Now looking back on that summer, I know that it was God's hand. Yes, His protective hand that guarded me that day, as it has done so many times in my life. The horse that everyone feared let me come closer, as if at that moment I knew that I was not alone, that the Eternal One was with me, protecting me as always.